So one thing I noticed here is you'll see that I'm leaving my global controller, and this global controller is like the top node of my control rig. I'm leaving this behind, but I want to use it. I want to use it for something up here because I just want to animate it while he's kind of getting up there. But it's kind of hard to animate this thing way over here and pivoting from here because it's far away. So I mean, I could animate his body and his feet all separately, but in this case, I just want to animate his global, but I want it over there. So I'm just going to showcase some functionality that has been in the tool for a bit, but I'm just going to show it how it can be useful for things like this. So what I want to do is I want to move that global over there, and I want to get rid of the motion on the, you'll see there's motion on this guy, which is the body offset, and there's also motion on the root, I think. So I just want to clean all that up and just move it all to that new location, which is about here. Okay, I think I just introduced a pop somewhere. So let me just see, what did I do? Oh, there it is. I'm just going to delete that. Okay, so space switching, back to that, sorry. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move the space of the body, which is currently in, you'll see that all this thing moves and pops. So I'm just going to move the body and the feet out of parent space and move them into world space, and I'll show you why. So I'm just going to select the body and I'm just going to click world, and I'm on the first frame, so it does all the animation. So now what it did is it moved it, so it's the same animation, but it moved that motion, that animation data out to world space. So you'll see it's no longer hooked up to my global controller. So I'm going to do the same thing to the feet. So I click on this foot, I'm going to make sure I'm on the first frame, and I'm going to say world. And I'm going to do the same thing with the other foot and say world. So I've now detached the feet and the body from the global controller and also from the body offset. They're not there because now they're in world space. So what does that mean I can do? Now that means I can do whatever I want to these three guys. So I'm going to select, actually, I'm going to use a track filter here, which are really useful. So I have this bound to F10, so I can just go in and out of F10. What are selected control rig controls? So this filter up here, it's here. I'm constantly hopping in and out of this mode. And the reason is when that's enabled, you'll see there's nothing in my sequencer, but anything I select, only that control will show up in my sequencer. So if I have the upper arm, lower arm, and hand, you can see those are the only three things that are showing up there. If that was off, so I'm going to hit my hotkey, F10, you'll see I have this giant list of all the controls in the character. So it's not always what you want. So in this case, I only want to see these three. So I'm going to turn my filter back on, and I'm going to select this guy, and this guy. And I don't need these keyframes anymore because I want to clean them out anyway. So I'm just going to delete all these keyframes, and you'll see that the motion is still intact, and now nothing is moving. Those globals and offsets are no longer moving. Oh, sorry, I think I'm resetting. That's fine. Okay. So now it's cool, it's because I'm still in world space. I can move this guy. So I'm just going to go to kind of that frame where does he land on it? Like around here. And I'm just going to roughly move his global. Oops, sorry, I only want his global. I'm going to roughly move his global just up under the character because that's kind of where I want to animate him from. So he's going to land somewhere up here. It doesn't have to be exact. And I'm just going to set a keyframe here. I'm just going to move it back to the beginning, just because I want it to stay there. So now you'll see that, again, nothing has changed in my motion, but now my global is now here. So this is a much better place for me to use it when I continue to animate it. So now if I want to, reconnect it to the global, I can just, again, click on the body. I'm on the first frame again, and just put it back to parent space. And that moves that animation data back into the parent space, which is that global that I now moved. And you could reorient it, you could do whatever you want. I'm going to do the same thing on the foot, parent, foot, parent. So now I have the same motion, and now I also have my global here. And you'll notice that if I move the global now, it's hooked back up to that. But now it's in a totally new location. Super useful. So now what I can do with that, I can say, you know what, I want, when he comes up here, I'm just going to animate this global so he lands a little better, maybe over here. And I'm just going to rotate him like this. So you see now it's a more local kind of rotation and useful tool. So I'm just going to do that. Okay, so it's rough, but now you can see he at least lands close to the top of the foot. And again, I can continue to finesse this a bit and maybe have him just move a little bit in between. So now I'm here.